Hello, Tech Pros, episode 105.
Every parent out there knows what's really important and what makes us happy. And we just have to align our calendars and our lives and our work with our priorities and make sure that we enjoy more time with our kids and that our kids enjoy more time with us.
Welcome to the podcast where I chat with professionals who are getting the job done using technology 7 days a week. Each week we start with Motivation Monday. Tuesday is about productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and Sunday, being unplugged. All right, let's get started. Hello, Tech Pros. This is Chad Bostic, and I'm excited to introduce our featured guest today, Oded Israeli. Happy Sunday, Oded.
Happy Sunday, Chad. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Are you ready to unplug and unwind?
I'm already unplugged.
Awesome. Oded Israeli is a father of 3 adorable kids and the co-founder and CEO of Odaddy. Oded has 18 years of experience in the high-tech industry, specifically in e-commerce and mobile internet. Prior to co-founding Odaddy, Oded was VP Marketing at Visual Lead, the first Israeli startup to secure an investment from the Alibaba Group. Before that, Oded managed multiple digital commerce and mobile payment platforms as Director of Product Management and Marketing at Amdocs. Earlier, Oded was Chief of Staff for Amdocs CEO and Director of Business Development for Digital Services. Oded also practiced law as a high-tech attorney, founded a web development company, and advised Fortune 500 companies as a management consultant for the Boston Consulting Group. He holds multiple degrees from Tel Aviv University and MBA from NC. Dude, you're doing so much. You're doing all these things.
Chad.
So many things.
Wow. It's been a long time. You know what? You should have stopped at daddy of 3 kids. That's the most important.
Absolutely. I mean, I seriously respect all the hustle that you've put in your career and in your education, and you've just been crushing it throughout your career, and this is amazing. 18 years of experience to read through, but to be honest with you, Oded, it's exhausting just reading this. I mean, it's Sunday. This is my personal day of rest. I know you're in the different part of the world where Sunday's like your first day back to work, but man, this is a lot of work stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about that. I should just, let you talk with my wife to tell her how much impressed you are. That would be enough. No, but kidding. We're not here to discuss my decades of experience, are we?
No, we're not. We're here to talk about your kids.
So let's talk about them. You want me to tell you about them, Chad?
Yeah, please. Tell me about your kids.
I have 3 kids. As I think any parent would say, they give me meaning. I found new sources of happiness that I didn't know existed. And my first kid was born 9 years ago, so I'm already, a dad for a few years now. Mm-hmm. And I have a 9-year-old boy and a 6-year-old daughter. And the idea for Odaddy actually came up when my 3rd daughter was born 2 years ago. Do you want to hear the story?
I would love to hear the story. So what is Odaddy? So give us I don't know, you can either tell us exactly what Odaddy is, or you can give us the story and lead us up to what Odaddy is by, when your 3rd child was born.
Sure. So first of all, Odaddy, to begin with, is a mobile application that helps parents spend more quality time with their kids. Simple, it's something that all of us want to do, and we find it difficult to do. We're working too hard. We're, spending our time elsewhere. I would say even wasting our time in lots of places and lots of times. And all of us want to be more with our kids and enjoy our life more. And this is the purpose of Odaddy. The story of how I came up with it is actually a nice one. I was in the middle of a due diligence process for my previous startup with Alibaba Group, and it was a very hectic time. Emails were flying back and forth, and traveling from Israel to China and back, and documents, and a lot of stress in the company. And suddenly, my 3rd daughter was born. So it's not really suddenly, it does take 9 months and is somewhat planned. But, when she was born, during this due diligence process, I was sitting at the hospital's nursery. She was 1 day old, sleeping on my chest for 4 hours. And I was just spending, time with her, my new daughter, that I didn't know a day before, but I loved her to death right now, right? And it was fun, and suddenly nothing was more important, not the deal, not anything else, nothing was urgent. Like Sunday, there was time,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt, how can I capture this moment? Why can't I spend such beautiful, quiet hours with my older kids, like I want to? And the answer came rather quickly. It's the work. We all work too much. If you look at the statistics, you'd see that Americans today, for example, work over 50 hours a week, and that's true for like 39% of the workforce. And some, of course, work even more, 60 hours a week, etc. And of course, all this work time comes on account of our families and on account of our lives. And the second thing that was interesting in the hospital's nursery is that you can't bring your smartphone in. And that freed me, because we waste awful lot of time on our smartphone devices. So yes, like old girlfriends or former girlfriends, we love them, but we also hate them a bit, I would argue. Right? Like
Right.
they help us a lot, those smartphones, and they make us essentially effective and connected and social. But the fact of the matter is that we browse Facebook all day or Twitter, and we look at other people's pictures instead of our kids' faces. And we're answering emails and responding to quasi-urgent matters instead of focusing on what we really need to do, or more important, what we want to do. So there's, I think, a problem in the world that while our priorities change from a few decades ago, we want to be more with our family. Dads especially are more connected, and we want to be part of our kids' upbringing. And we want to work to live and not live to work. Our calendars don't really reflect that. And our smartphones actually keep us distracted rather than focused. So I thought, is it only my problem, or is there a global problem? And I did some research and found out that, many of my friends and a lot of people I don't know face the same problem, and that we work too hard and that we're addicted to our smartphones. And that's like a mainstream addiction today. And that we want to be with our kids and enjoy our families, but there's a couple of issues with that as well. Like, what do we do with our kids? How do we not bore them or put an iPad to their hands and forget about them? Or, how do we stop being connected digitally and regain the connectivity that we used to have with our parents and with our siblings and with our friends? Because our kids are becoming little addicts themselves because of the personal example we give them. Anyway, a lot of problems. And then I left the nursery, obviously, and I did some research. And a few months after I left my cool job at the previous startup and founded this company, and with the help of great co-founders and a lot of friends and advisors, we put this application up on both app stores, App Store and Google Play. And that's the short story, I guess.
So, man, Oded, I can completely agree with everything you're saying, because I have a daughter too. She's 6. She's turning 7 years old this summer. She's going into first grade, and in the hospital, that moment, right after she's born, for the next few hours, for the next couple of days, it was so easy to unplug, because I had scheduled time off of work. I had, left the phone at home, or at least left it in the luggage, and all the family and everybody who was close was there with us. So there was nobody on earth that I wanted to talk to other than this little child and my wife and, the visitors who came to see us. But throughout the years, over the last 7 years, I found myself, and I feel very, very guilty about this, I find myself going back to the phone, going back to the work. You said earlier, you mentioned that, we have these other priorities, there's other things going on, and it seems like an emergency, but it's not really emergency. And I find myself picking up my phone all the time just to do stupid stuff, just to look at the stats of my podcast downloads for the day that I already looked at like 3 hours ago. It's not going to change, and if it did, it doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah. These KPIs, these metrics are valuable over the course of months or quarters, right? Not between 9 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't matter. So what are you doing? What is ODaddy doing to help us put the phones down and really get connected to our kids?
So I think, first of all, you'll be maybe happy to hear, but it's not real happiness, that obviously your problem is not only yours, right? So parents in general feel guilty every day. And that's there was a Little Tikes survey recently that showed that parents feel guilty every day, and the number one reason is not spending enough quality time with their kids. And another survey by IKEA found out that kids are seeing things the same way, and kids feel that their parents' work and their parents' smartphone use are the two main obstacles to family quality time. And they said we would actually, be happier to play with our parents rather than watch a TV screen. And, to some of us parents, it sounds counterintuitive, like, really? Because my kids really love TV and they love their iPads, right?
Yeah.
But they actually, most kids, that answered this survey, and we're talking about thousands, and I guess my kids would answer in a similar way. They would actually appreciate more one-on-one time with us parents than, watching Bob Sponge another time.
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
So what are we doing about it? So we had a couple of ideas, and there's two things we do. One is our ODaddy app, and I'll tell you a bit about that. And a second is what we're working on now, which is an enterprise solution to improve employee wellness, because we thought we need to get at it on both sides. So on the consumer side, we have ODaddy, and ODaddy does a couple of things. First of all, it gives you ideas that could be fun ideas for you and your kids to enjoy based on your very specific profile. So I'll give you an example. Instead of like asking Google, what do I do with my 6-year-old daughter today? Google doesn't know how to answer this question yet. And you can go to all kinds of moms forums, and they have awful lot of ideas, but there's two problems with those moms forums. A, they're super local, so they don't necessarily help you if you're, looking for something, outside of their district, or you're traveling with your kid to another city, etc. Second, you're a dad, so maybe you're not even allowed in Chad, and that's a big problem for me with all kinds of WhatsApp groups that, I'm a cool dad. I want to be with my daughters and my boy. But I can't get all these nice ideas in the moms groups because I'm not a mom. Here goes for equality, But the biggest problem is that they have awful lot of ideas that don't fit my kids. And in order to find one that does, I need to sift through thousands of ideas to find one that my kids might like. So we solve for this. How do we solve for it? So you entered the app, Chad, and you said, I have one daughter and she's 6 years old. And you allow, location, and we know where you live or where you're at with your daughter. And every day you'll get a limited set of activities that are perfect for you and your 6-year-old daughter to enjoy today, wherever you are. And tomorrow you'll get new ideas. And if you'll tell the app what ideas you've liked or what ideas you actually went on and enjoyed, then the app learns your profile and your preferences, and it will suggest more relevant ideas based on what the app learned about you in the following day. And it will also take the smarts of other parents in your neighborhood in Florida that have a 6-year-old daughter, and they'll say, it will say, if these parents enjoyed this activity, Chad may enjoy it as well with his daughter. So that's the Odaddy app that is available in the app stores.
Oh man, that's so awesome. So, as I don't know, as a kid, I just made up stuff all the time. I was very creative, right? I had all this creative energy, and if I had a stick and a box, I could build an empire, right? I could
Because
have
you're
a
an
pirate ship.
entrepreneur.
I
I
could
think your
have.
blog proves it again. You're still a kid, Chad.
I'm still a kid. I'm still a kid, but as I get older, it's sometimes hard to have those like spontaneous thoughts of let's just make something up and let's just do something fun. And so I love the idea of a concierge service, right? This ODaddy app that tells you, hey, based off your profile and your kids and the moment that you're at and the place that you're at, here's some activities that you could do right now and just have fun and just let you get started.
Yeah, you're right. It's like it's we surveyed a lot of parents before we actually developed the app, and we saw that this is a constant and daily struggle. Like, what do I do with my kids today? And parents can usually think about 3 to 4 ideas on their own, and they repeat those 3 or 4 ideas with the
Right.
kids, and that becomes routine or boring. So when you ask your kid, what have we done last week? Maybe she remembers because you've done it 1,000 times already, but it wouldn't, if you think about our own childhood, the things that we remember the most are the out of the ordinary activities, right? The stuff that we did with our parents, which was not the usual. It's not, again, going for pizza or getting an iPad and forgetting about it. It's about going to the park and playing something special. It's about some creativity endeavor that we enjoy together. It's the out of the ordinary stuff that we remember, and this is the type of stuff that we try to encourage through the app. And it also gives you visibility to all kinds of events that are happening in your neighborhood, and most times you find out about them too late. So you see, your friends posting on Facebook that they enjoyed some carnival just outside your street, and you never knew it, it was about to happen. So we also make all these events, local events, available through the app.
Man, that's awesome because I always feel excluded. And I'm like, why am I always the last to know? Like, I see all these pictures, my neighbors, like everybody in town apparently knows about this thing that's going on, this carnival, and all the kids are having a blast. And I know on Monday when we go back to school, my daughter's going to hear about the stories that their friends are all going to say, Bella, we didn't see you there at the carnival. And she's going to be like, wow, my dad didn't take me to the carnival. He must not love me. Well, that's going to make me cry, make her cry, everybody cry. That's a sad thing. Nobody wants to see that. So if I just know, hey, there's a carnival going on, it's going to be this weekend. It's right around the neighborhood. Like, you should totally go.
Yeah. Another nice thing that we're doing, I think you'll love this feature, Chad. We give push notifications, and we actually, our users love our push notifications. Now think about it. It's also, not the usual case. So if I get, push notifications from, Candy Crush or my calendar, I'm not that excited about that. But our push notifications are saying, for example, how about playing Monopoly with Sophia tonight? Now, you're getting a specific idea, and every day you'll get a different idea. And if you have a couple of kids, of course, you'll get ideas for different kids each time. And this mere push notification makes you aware, just a minute, there's somebody that I love that I, gave birth to, because the app is totally for moms too. The fact that it's named Odaddy is not to exclude moms, on the contrary. So there's this, this daughter that I love and I want to spend time with her. And suddenly this app is giving me a push notification that reminds me of her and plants a picture in my head of us enjoying something together, some activity together. And that, even if you don't, play Monopoly, but instead you take her out to the playground or you go to this carnival that we told you about, then, it's still great that you got this awareness. And that actually might make you leave the studio or leave your work 10 minutes earlier to spend some more time with your kids, which is another goal for us, to create more family time. And it's totally possible.
Man, I love that. I need that. So I I got to be honest with you here, Oded. The reason I started this podcast, not specifically the podcast, but the reason why I wanted to not go back to a big enterprise or a fast-paced startup was because I want to spend more time with my family, right? If I'm working from home, then I have more opportunities to take little moments, not necessarily like I'm being lazy and I'm laying around not doing any work. It's not that, but I'll have these little moments like before school, after school, where I can be available and I can come out of my home office and I can spend a few minutes and we can play a game or we can do something, walk down to the park, and then get my work done later throughout the day or later in the evening. But I find it's very, very difficult. Personally, right now, I find it more difficult to take the time that I need to spend with my daughter, that I need to spend with my family, because I have this this passion for the business, but it's not just the passion, it's this this responsibility that it's all on me, right? That I have to be successful, that I've got to get sponsorships, that I've got to, get my apps built, that I've got to do all these things in my business to make it a success so that I can pay the bills so that we don't lose our lifestyle, right? And so it's trying to balance this. My gosh, I have all these responsibilities, but the first responsibility I have is to my family and to spend time with them.
Yeah. So I think, we all struggle, we're all ambitious. Work is a big part and a meaningful part of life. So I totally dig it. And I'm an entrepreneur now, but I've worked in enterprises for a major part of my life. And I think it's an internal thing, right? It's something about us that wants us to be successful and meaningful to our employers or to ourselves, and that's not going to go away. But one thing that is very clear is that in moments of truth, you understand that none of it really matters. And I'll give you an example. People on their deathbed never said, "Gosh, I wish I would have worked more," or "I didn't work enough." What they usually say is, "I didn't spend enough time with my kids," or "I didn't learn everything that I wanted to learn," or "I didn't, pursue my dreams the way that I wanted." So the challenge is to find the right balance for you, and balance is essentially an ideal, right? We can't ever achieve a perfect balance, but we can improve our work-life balance and to follow our priorities. And this is part of what we're trying to do with our enterprise offering that we're going to pilot with some of the major enterprises in the States and elsewhere. Essentially, what we're saying is, if someone, lives this life and they work extremely hard and they have all these things on their table that they have to get done this week, and they stay at work late and they don't see their families day after day, that's not helpful for business. They become unmotivated. They are worn out. They get burnout, which is a health condition.
Right.
They become sick. So it's not sustainable. And if they go home, late at night, and they're tired, and they don't have even the patience for their kids because of all the stuff they've been through, who's suffering at the end of the day? It's not only them as employees. It's not only the family that doesn't get to see them. It's the enterprise that suffers. Because they come, back the next morning, and they know they need to do it because they have to pay the mortgage and they have to pay the bills, and someone's got to bring the bread home. Mm-hmm. But they're not happy about their work, and they feel bad about it, and they feel lousy about how they're doing as parents, and that's not worth it. So an alternative. And, we believe that it's possible because both Dotan, my partner, and I have worked in enterprises and raised 3 happy kids during this time, is that instead you put your priorities where they should lie. So you make sure that you're at home on time, meaning you're coming home at the time that your kids are still awake, and you find those oh daddy moments that you so love, in the beginning of the day and the end of the day to enjoy with your daughter. You find those moments and you make it a point to be there for dinner, and you make it a point to read your daughter a story and to play with her and to do a couple of things out of the ordinary, out of the routine every week, and you secure some time. And yes, you're right, work is not going anywhere. You'll still have to finish all your chores, but you don't have to do it you don't have to stay at work in order to do it. Like, my wife is a dentist, so she can't bring her work home. But for most professions nowadays, we work on our smartphones, we work on our PCs. Every connected device is essentially a platform to work. So instead of working until 9 p.m., we'll work until 6 p.m. We'll go home, we'll spend 3 hours with our kids. They would love us more, we would love ourselves more. And then at 9 p.m., you know what? Instead of watching TV, we'll work another hour. I think when you think about it, Chad, the constraint is not our own calendar. It's our kids' calendar. Because they come home at a certain hour and they go to sleep, because we tell them so, at a certain hour. Right. And they need to get, their baths and to eat their dinner and to, to do their homework if they're older. So we have to work our calendars and our schedules around their schedules. And we have to do it because this is what we want to do. Because it's more important that our kids will be happy than our boss will be happy. And if we'll be happy as parents, I can assure you that we'll be better at our jobs and our boss would love us more as well. Who's the most effective at work? I would argue it's working moms. Working moms who, have to juggle all the logistics of the house because we're lousy at it. Let's be honest about it.
I'm horrible.
And so they have to, make everything tick and make sure that everything works in order to be on time to pick the kids up from school or kindergarten. So they know how to be effective, and the rest of us just have to learn.
Awesome. Oded, in just a moment, I want to ask you specifically about what the new solution that you're hinting at here, the enterprise solution that makes people go home and spend time with their kids. But first, we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsors. This episode of Hello Tech Pros is sponsored by Burdine. Siri and OK Google are fun for party tricks, but 97% of smartphone users don't like talking to their phones in public. It's kind of weird. When was the last time you were at the mall and heard someone say, "Siri, what's my wife's dress size?" Or, "OK Google, where did I park my car?" Some things are better left unspoken. Burdine remembers the things you care about and reminds you discreetly through text messages. Names, dates, places, ideas, to-do lists. Burdine never forgets and is always there to remind you. You don't need to install an app, just text Burdine a statement and she'll remember. Text her a question and she'll answer. Burdine is the only contact you have to have on your phone. Meet Burdine at burdine.com. That's BURDENE.com. Or text Burdine to 480-418-1411. Outside the U.S., be sure to use the country code +1. So for non-U.S. residents, text +1 480-418-1411 with a message Burdine. Okay, we're back with Oded Israeli. Oded is the founder and CEO of Odaddy, a company that helps you spend more time with your kids and gives you spontaneous ideas of what to do with your kids right now to have fun. And he's the father of 3 adorable kids, and that is his main priority, is spending time with his kids. And Oded, you were talking about how in the enterprise, it's not just good for the individual employee, but it's also good for the company, for the moms and dads to spend more time with their kids and to get unplugged and to have a great family life, because it gives you, it makes you a more healthy person, right? It gives you that mental health, that clarity, that gets your priorities straight, but also, your body is charged up and feeling good when you're feeling good about yourself on the inside. So tell me about the solution, the enterprise solution, very quickly that you're working on to help us disconnect from work, come home, and spend time with our families.
Sure. So there's a big trend around wellness nowadays. Employers know that they have to look at their employees, especially the Generation Y parents, holistically. That they can't worry only about work time and productivity, but they also want to take care of their employees and make sure that they have a good balance and that life priorities are met while they're working. So some enterprises approached us, and we worked together to come up with a solution that helps the workforce achieve a better balance, because it's a struggle for many employees, not only for us entrepreneurs. And essentially, what the solution is a co-branded app where you can get both the encouragement from the app, but also from your employer to go home, and to be with your kids. And it makes sure that you don't miss out on too many evenings of tucking your kids into bed and giving them a shower, etc. And it gives you the ideas of what you can do with them in the little time that you have left after you come back from work. So you'd come home and it would say you have 30 minutes. Here's 3 or 5 ideas on how to make it most meaningful for your kids and yourselves. The second thing that it does is that it makes accessible different content and discounts that the enterprises acquire for their employees. So many enterprises today have all kinds of benefits plans and sporting plans, but also discounts for major theme parks and other, clothing retailers for kids, etc., that they achieve for their workforce, because they have a lot of people working for them. But the redemption rates of these discounts are usually very low. And what we're actually doing is contextualizing all this content and benefits to the employees' wishes and preferences. So, for example, if you'll go to a theme park with your daughter, and because you work for a big corporate, you're entitled to some discount that you never knew about, we'll say, the theme park is a good idea for you. And here, just in time, is a discount that you can enjoy as the employee of this enterprise. So that's one example. From the enterprises side, we don't sacrifice the privacy of any individual employee. We're not a big brother, and we don't let the enterprise have any information about an individual employee. But on the aggregate, we can tell them, look at your company as a whole, or at a big division, and here's the breakout of the day to work, to life, to transport, and other things, and look at the work-life balance of your employees on a daily basis and a weekly basis, so that you can take action to avoid employee attrition, to avoid people, just quitting because they can't have it anymore. Or here are the things that your employees enjoy, in the after hours. So we can create groups for you around similar interests. We can facilitate social interactions between employees with kids at the same age that live nearby. We can make a lot of the off time meaningful and happier, so that your employees are more loyal and enjoy their day more. So that's the basics of it. I hope that I didn't go too long about it.
No, that's awesome. So I love the fact that these are co-branded apps. So let me see if I understand this correctly. So you have the logic and the ideas and the, all the data in, but it's going to be it's going to be branded by the corporation that you work for, right? So if I work for really big softwarecompany.com, then that the app would have reallyBigSoftwareCompany.com kind of branded all over it. And then the app would tell me, hey, Chad, you know what? It's 6:00. Dude, you're still at the office. Go home right now. We are the boss, and we're telling you, you have our permission and you have our expectations. You need to go home and spend time with your daughter. And while you're there, you know what? Use some of these discounted corporate discounts that we have to go do something fun.
Yeah, I want to go work for this company, Chad.
Awesome. I want to work for myself, but if this doesn't work out, then I want to work for that company too, because that sounds amazing. As a manager, an IT man, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I say it's co-branded for a very good reason, because your daughter is not only yours. So the app, which would not go under Oded, we would have a new brand for the enterprise offering, is also good for your wife. Like Oded is good for your wife as well, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing is that the employees will enjoy those corporate discounts and benefits and all kinds of interesting content from their enterprise. Like, what does your CEO think about quality time? Setting the tone for getting the right balance in life. But your wife would be able to download the same app without the corporate discounts from the App Store. And when you go, and enjoy your time in the neighborhood on a play date, your neighbor will also be able to download the same app from the App Store. So it wouldn't have all the interesting content from the enterprise or the discounts that you specifically would enjoy, but you'll be able to share the same experience and get most of the benefit, which is the parenting benefit, enjoying ourselves as parents and making sure that our kids are happy.
Awesome. That's so inspiring. Such good stuff. And I can't wait to see how it spreads. And because I'm really, really conscious about, making my own personal family happy and my personal self happy by spending more time with my family, but also at the enterprise, right? I see too many people just slaving away, not because their bosses are jerks and are keeping them there, but because they have this perception that if they stay, they'll do better, and if they leave, that they'll get fired or they won't get a raise or promotion or something like that. So I'm really excited to see companies adopt this philosophy, adopt this application, start implementing it with their own employees, and just really start working on that work-life balance in a tangible, meaningful way.
Yeah, it's a process. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a blog, Chad, that is called "Your Extra Hour at Work is Worth Nothing," where I explain why working late and giving face time instead of productivity is actually not helping one's career, but actually making sure that they stay exactly where they are. Mm-hmm. But I think, there's a trend. Employers want to provide a better work-life balance, better wellness for their employees. Employees are demanding it. Generation Y parents care about meaning and their family. And it's going to happen. It's just going to take time. And I'm happy that I can have maybe some contribution to it, and hopefully ourselves and other startups and companies who have the same agenda will be successful, and we'll all live a healthier, happier life.
Man, that's awesome. Such good stuff. Oded, you know what time it is now?
Time to enjoy ourselves with the kids?
Exactly. It's time to get off this call and go enjoy time with our kids. But before we do, can you share some parting words of wisdom for the audience, the best way that we can connect with you? And then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. So I think I don't have any words of wisdom, Chad. Every parent out there knows what's really important and what makes us happy. And we just have to align our calendars and our lives and our work with our priorities and make sure that we enjoy more time with our kids and that our kids enjoy more time with us. And we should remember that we're the last generation of parents that grew up without smartphones in their hands. And we can have a whole conversation about the negative impact of smartphones and technology on our kids and on life, but we won't do that right now. the most important thing is to just be there with them. And when you're with them, put all tech aside. Focus on one another, look at each other's eyes, and just enjoy time together. That's the most important. How to get in touch with us is really simple. You can download the app, and in the menu you'll have feedback, and we're very accessible. The CEO of this startup is also doing tech support, so you're welcome to approach us. And we're on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we have a website, odaddy.me. So we're out there. Just reach out.
Awesome. We'll have all of that linked up, exactly how you can get to the app, the ODaddy app, on all the different app stores on the show notes page for this episode, which is hellotechpros.com/105. Oded, thank you so much for joining me on Hello Tech Pros today. I really value your time away from your family, time away from your work, and appreciate you holding me accountable to my family. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy Sunday to spend time with us.
Thanks, Chad, for having us on the show, and I look forward to speaking with you again. Hey, enjoy.
Thank you so much. Tech Pros, put the phones down. I mean, install this app, get some great ideas of what to do with your kids, but then put them down. Put the phone away. Like, lock it up until the kids go to bed. I'm going to go, you know what, during the commercial break, I installed the ODaddy app. And just went through the bio, input all my stuff. And the first suggestion that it says is play with water balloons. So guess what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to log off, go find my kid, go find some balloons, fill them up with water, and make a big mess in the backyard. You've been listening. Awesome stuff. You've been listening to Oded Israeli, and I'm Chad Bostic. And until next time, take care. The show notes page for this episode can be found at hellotechpros.com/105. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review, subscribe to this channel, and check back tomorrow. This has been Sunday Being Unplugged, but tomorrow my featured guest and I will get fired up and ready to face the week with Motivation Monday. On Tuesday, we'll be discussing productivity, Wednesday, leadership, Thursday, technology, Friday, people and communication, Saturday, entrepreneurship, and back again on Sunday to get unplugged. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.